McGraw-Hill Professional presents The Leadership Mind Switch, Rethinking How We Lead in the New World of Work. Written by D.A. Benton and Kylie Wright-Ford. Narrated by Caroline Miller. Introduction. The Fourth Industrial Revolution. The factory of the future will have only two employees, a man and a dog. The man will be there to feed the dog. The dog will be there to keep the man from touching the equipment. Warren Bennis. As you pick up this book, you may be experiencing a shift in your workplace, in your organization, or even in your professional lifestyle as the world around you changes rapidly. Perhaps you are reaching a new stage in your career and wrestling with how to be successful going forward. Maybe you are building your leadership skills or trying to refine them to fit the current needs of your team. The books you read and the advice you receive on leadership are probably from another era, one of iconic business, political, or historical leaders. Some of this advice is certainly still relevant, but some is entirely antiquated. The leadership game has changed substantially over time, even in the last 2 years, and continues to do so. We wrote The Leadership Mind Switch to help you thrive in this new business landscape, what is being called the Fourth Industrial Revolution. Unveiled by global thinkers at the 2016 World Economic Forum, this revolution is set to transform the way we need to lead and live. A note to our readers. Throughout the book, you will see quotes from conversations we have had with leaders on various subjects. These words of wisdom come directly from leaders of all ages and walks of life and represent their current thinking. We found that these tiny pieces of insight reflect the hundreds of people we talk to about the leadership mind switch and why it is needed. You will also find stories from the road at the end of each chapter. They, too, reflect the diversity of the leaders we interviewed, from Fortune 500 leaders to MBA students. You will find a story from a global CMO, a CFO at a private equity firm, presidents and academics, millennials and sage advisors, even a couple who bought a whole town. We want you to relate to different stories in different ways. This is part of the point of the mind switch that is needed. Leadership is not about a title, it is about the qualities and behaviors that you exude. And nuggets of how to succeed can come from many different corners in the diverse world we live in. Leaders mostly rely on habits and processes that have served them well in the past. We use our wisdom to guide us, and it is an efficient way to behave. However, the premise for this book, and our firm belief, is that a mind switch is needed now to be ready for the future. When the environment changes dramatically, which it has and will continue to do so as the fourth revolution unfolds, actions and thoughts need to adjust similarly. The leadership mind switch portrays a radical change to the way you think about your leadership behaviors and qualities. It is more than a shift in your mindset. It is a jolt to the way you think and act. The urgency to change is based on a realization that moving at the pace of the past is not going to work effectively anymore, especially when leading across different generations and styles. Before we dive into the mind switch in detail, perhaps some background to the way our workforce has evolved will give context. Many of us are a little rusty on the history of the first 3 eras of industry, the so-called revolutions. The first industrial revolution was characterized by the transition from old to new manufacturing processes. The second by a technological phase of rapid industrialization and mass production. And the third by the digitization of manufacturing. In the words of the World Economic Forum, the fourth industrial revolution is characterized by a fusion of technologies that is blurring the lines between the physical, digital, and biological spheres. To us, it is a collective term describing contemporary automation, digital data exchange, and new manufacturing technologies, such as the blending of robots, virtual reality, and the to be determined. This is both exciting and confusing. Your organization may be moving faster or slower than the average workplace, but you will need to be ready for anything if you want to stay relevant and impactful. The future will be vastly different, with changes happening at warp speed. You're way past the rat race. This is more like the gazelle race. It is going to be a new world of work, and as a leader, You will need to operate with an urgency you have never felt before. You may have seen the stats. 50% of the workforce will be between the ages of 20 and 40 years old by 2020. That means your bosses, colleagues, employees, customers, and competitors will look and behave differently than they do now. As one of our good friends, Scott Goodson, founder and CEO of Strawberry Frog and author of Uprising, says, "Leading right now is kind of like you have a machete strapped to your chest, your safari suit on, and are charging into the jungle." We like this analogy because it captures the raw nature of the reality and, for most of us, the foreign environment that we are entering amid changing technologies and demographics. The Leadership Mind Switch gives you the tools and information that you will need to be fulfilled, happy, and impactful as these shifts gather pace. Because expectations, requirements, and demands have been changed, we want to help you make a mind switch so you can lead across generations, from boomers to Gen X, Gen Y, and Gen Z, utilizing different leadership styles and transforming the way you inspire others in the future. The two authors of this book have backgrounds as an executive coach and a contemporary executive. We live and work with new leadership demands every day and have personally experienced the lightning speed changes in technological innovation and demographic disruption that are currently occurring. We have watched some leaders struggle and others thrive. Executive coach Debra Benton has over 35 years of experience consulting with Fortune 500 executives, Silicon Valley startups, and entrepreneurs in 18 different countries, speaking and coaching on persuasive leadership communication skills, writing articles and popular blogs, and publishing best-selling business books. Kylie Wright-Ford is an Australian-born operating executive, entrepreneur, speaker, and guest lecturer on leadership. She was most recently the Chief Operating and Strategy Officer of World 50, is a Goldman Sachs J.B. Weir alum, and Oxford MBA. She has lived and worked on 3 different continents and currently lives in the United States. We lead, manage, coach, and advise people living with the new workplace dynamics, providing our experienced perspectives through our global first-hand knowledge and leadership backgrounds. Together, we produce the kind of wisdom that can't be found using search engines. Like you, we wanted to know what's needed to succeed going forward, and through writing this book, we found answers to help all of us lead into the future. As a recent Apple advertising campaign proclaims, the only thing that's changed is everything. So let's get started. Welcome to The Leadership Mind Switch. Please visit our websites, www.makethemindswitch.com, www.debrabenton.com, www.kyliewf.com. Part 1. Leading Today and Tomorrow. Really good leaders are needed now more than ever. Leadership methods that worked in the past won't work going forward. Leading in the future will require fresh thinking in both practice and behavior. Good leaders will have to be more agile and enlightened than their predecessors, operate with transparency and tenacity, and be more honest and communicative. They will need the skills to understand, relate to, and work with people of all kinds, regardless of their age, background, or individual idiosyncrasies. The urgency around being such a leader has skyrocketed. During the next 10 years, we will experience an unprecedented storm of technological and demographic shifts. This storm will sweep in remarkable changes in the way we interact with each other, our devices, and the world around us, while also presenting new, unmatched opportunities. A metamorphosis is underway. In a world where the dividing lines between humans and machines are becoming gray, how we respond to this revolution as leaders and develop our uniquely human skills will be determined solely by our actions. In the words of Klaus Schwab, founder of the World Economic Forum in Davos, "I believe we need to emphasize the more human aspect in leadership as a counterweight to all of these technological changes." Time Magazine, January 2016. And this is true. Bringing your whole self to work and inspiring others through your behavior is more important now than ever before. Despite all of the changes that we are experiencing, however, there are 2 things that have stayed consistent. 1. Leadership is everything in business. A quality person has to confidently step up and take the lead, set an example, chart the course, and provide feedback. In other words, leaders still need to get people to do what they want them to do while keeping them happy and productive. 2. Someone is going to take the lead, and it might as well be you. Whether you've just entered into a managerial role or you've been a CEO for years, you have the ability to harness the new opportunities presented by today's exciting new challenges. This is not a time to idly sit by. It is a time when fortune will truly favor the brave. Chapter 1. The Changing World of Leadership. While human brain size has remained largely the same for the last few centuries, we have massively accelerated the way we collect and consume information. Speaking at a recent Techonomy conference, Eric Schmidt, former CEO of Google, said, "Every 2 days, we create as much information as we did from the dawn of man through 2003. This rapid expansion of available information has both welcome and unwelcome consequences. We are better informed today than probably ever before, but the sheer amount of facts, figures, and opinions that constantly bombard us can be overwhelming. Similarly, technology seems to be ever expanding. Consider that before long, your work headquarters will likely have robots on staff. Remote employees and telecommuters may control them from the comfort of their own homes, no matter where they live, using them to attend meetings more visibly and collaborate more effectively. Don't be surprised if you see one wearing a toupee rolling down the hall. Robots are sort of people, too. Maybe it sounds far-fetched, but think of the new advances that have already helped you collaborate and bridge both time and distance in the global workplace. Skype and FaceTime, for example, were major developments in communication methods, but they will prove to be only the tip of the iceberg. The ability to communicate with ease from almost anywhere in the world has also reshaped the traditional role of the office. Physical office dynamics have changed dramatically for many Fortune 500 leaders. More than one of the chief executives we interviewed for this book claims to have a window office, a window seat in the bulkhead of a plane where they spend time between business meetings and customer visits. In recent years, many leaders don't even have a desk because they firmly believe that an open door is not enough to stay connected to their team. They literally use their mobile phone as their office and move around the workspace, and sometimes the world, according to their schedule that day. Leadership today is about character and communication, not corner offices. Each year, we collectively speak to hundreds of leaders who are embracing open-plan seating and the idea of being with their people. They do so to connect with their teams and exhibit their authenticity, an idea that is being retooled in the workplace as well. Gone are the days where leaders are expected to be infallible, perfect, and remote. Now, some leaders are even playful in the workplace to model their willingness to try new things and bring levity to a demanding environment. Not only are they connecting differently with their current teams, but they are also experiencing drastic changes in how they attract new talent. Potential employees today have certain expectations when it comes to the workplace, which we believe has resulted in a shift of power from the hiring company to the job seeker. For instance, think about the campuses in Silicon Valley. The way in which they operate and use technology to enable collaboration has completely evolved. They use open floor plans, creative titles, a variety of communication tools, flexible work schedules, and some other rather lavish perks to keep employees healthy and comfortable with their work-life balance. Some of these additional perks that are slowly becoming the norm are shown below. Meditation rooms and exercise classes or gym memberships. Healthy food trucks in the office parking lot. Free food. Parking lot car washing and gassing. Bike repair. Transportation allowance. Same-day laundry service. Haircuts and custom tailoring. Car repair, dry cleaning, and minor medical services on site. Relaxed rules around dress, visible tattoos, and facial hair. Required sabbaticals. Mandates that you take the day off on your birthday and get a cake upon your return. Office parties to celebrate anything. Beer on tap. Interest-free loans. Desk swaps to sit somewhere else. Co-working spaces to foster community. Company field trips to fun or exotic places. bonus cash for new baby, game arcades and music jam rooms, vacation cash to spend on the road, nap pods, allowing pets in the office, concierge service, twice monthly home house cleaning by corporate janitorial staff, creating one's own title. For example, Job Captain Finance, not Chief Financial Officer, CEO or Chief Encouragement Officer, Chief Happiness Officer. Emphasizing wellness with yoga rooms, standing desks, and indoor walking tracks. Creating their own management programs to develop their talent. Notifying workers to stop and take a company-wide exercise break or food break. Company rooftop community gardens and concert venues. Rotating every month where the most inexperienced and most experienced employees do some project together. Education reimbursements. Charity of your choice donation matching programs. While all of these perks will help you attract talent, actually keeping your employees engaged is in your hands. All of the plentiful perks in the world will not offset working for a lousy leader. According to McKinsey & Company, we are experiencing 10 times the pace of change of the first revolution and 300 times the scale. What hasn't changed is that people still work for a person, not a company. As a great leader, you want to be the one that the best of the best want to work for, irrespective of the free food in the cafeteria and the quality craft beer on tap. To become such a leader, you need to be intimately knowledgeable about how these changes are impacting both your role and the business environment as a whole. Let's take a closer look at the two major components that are having widespread effects on leaders in the 21st century: technology and demographics. Technology. The ubiquity of technology in our lives can be seen in the way we interact with each other and the companies that dominate our markets. At the time this book is being written, Apple, Alphabet, and Microsoft are the top 3 most valuable companies listed on the U.S. stock market. Facebook is number 7 and Amazon is number 9. Today, we use Twitter to exchange ideas, Fitbit to manage our health, Amazon Prime to purchase everything from an iPod to bulk toilet paper, Uber and Lyft to get us around the city, and Snapchat, Facebook, and many more to connect with others. We order our food on Gobble and Blue Apron when we are too busy to prepare and cook, and even outsource waiting in line for concert tickets on sites like TaskRabbit. Incrementally life-changing technologies are an everyday occurrence, and that's good. Technology conducts your trains, flies your planes, cures disease, increases crop production, decreases traffic accidents, keeps you safe, cooks your dinner, sets your alarms, keeps track of your children, and organizes and informs you. Mobile devices alone have been a major game changer in how we live and work together. The average U.S. adult is expected to use his or her mobile device for 5 hours and 56 minutes per day by 2017, according to eMarketer in October 2015. Back in 2011, the same adults used their mobile devices for just 46 minutes per day. We also see emerging new technology genres such as virtual reality, machine learning and automation, and the Internet of Things, estimated by International Data Corporation, IDC, growing in size from $655.8 billion in 2014 to $1.7 trillion by 2020. All of which will surely bring about even greater developments in our everyday lives, just as all major disruptions in technology tend to do. Technological workplace developments can be daunting. There are leaders who remember a time when lettered mail was delivered at 9:30 a.m. by someone pushing a cart from desk to desk, placed in a real, not figurative, inbox and outbox. Compare this system to how young adults under 21 years old use images, emoticons, and abbreviations to talk to each other, as if it were second nature. The fusion of technologies, blurring the lines between physical, digital, and biological spheres, has irreversibly changed the way we communicate, manage our careers, lead others, and live. How technology affects your job and career. The way we manage our careers has been dramatically improved by technologies that make the world feel small. We are more informed and empowered than ever to change our jobs, look for higher-paying opportunities, and find roles that are more fulfilling, with companies that offer better rewards and the chance to make an impact on the world. Finding these positions can be a few clicks or a few connections away. Networking is technically easier than ever with platforms like LinkedIn, Sing, and Viadio, which change the way we keep in touch with coworkers, colleagues, and friends. The talent pool is larger and more diverse than it's ever been, and the dynamic talent markets in which we operate are far afield for some slow-moving Fortune 500 companies. Innovators are embracing and adapting new technologies. Apps are now the way that we consume, transact, and make career choices. The best companies know this. They develop properties to engage and intrigue current employees and potential candidates, not to mention their customers. Technological advances have also expanded workforce participation. You can join the business world earlier. Think of students who might be developing apps while still in high school. You can also stay in the game longer. Physical workplaces are less important now than ever before, which means seniors are technically less isolated and more able to participate, even if they are providing consultation services from their homes in the Bahamas. We should all be so lucky. In fact, in a recent survey of Silicon Valley leaders published in Atlantic in November 2016, 20% of the panel believed that by 2020, more white-collar Americans will telecommute than work in their offices. Not only does technology affect how you find new positions or how companies find you, it also affects the type of positions and businesses that are now being developed. The startup is the new titan of industry. There are also countless new short-lived bedroom-spawned businesses, what futurist David Zack calls pop-up businesses. Pop-up businesses are created when people tackle a specific project, satisfy a certain need, and then disassemble and disband to move on to another project. If they grow, they are likely funded with crowdsourcing and staffed by flexible workers found on Elance or other sites that specialize in gig economy converts, those workers who take on temporary positions for shorter periods. Such developments in the landscape for work necessitate dramatic change in the way leaders need to think about career management for themselves and those they are trying to attract to work for them. This environment has also changed the way we can accelerate our careers as leaders. Consider what you want out of your career. Are you interested in a more traditional business path? Do you want to work for a time-tested organization? Or are you willing to take a risk on a new venture that may be more exciting or innovative? Once you're in a leadership role, consider what your prospective employees might want out of their careers too. And think about whether the company you choose to lead within will be well placed to withstand the tech changes and even thrive in them. Globalization. The pace of globalization, the interaction of people, culture, and trade across different nations, has been accelerated by technology and is now part of everyday life for most professionals around the world. Globalization has an equally long list of pros and cons according to the academics, economists, and pundits that specialize in commenting on global trends. But as it relates to the texture of the workforce, our view is that it is overwhelmingly positive. With globalization comes a more diverse mosaic of views and perspectives that weren't previously available or relatively affordable to access. Increasingly, our economic and cultural worlds are being intertwined with both those of our geographic neighbors and those that are halfway around the world. For example, we were recently in China with a colleague who is Chinese-born, lives in the United States, and is fluent in French. She switches easily between French, Chinese, and English, and her children are trilingual. Her husband is French, and she has a PhD in strategy. This colleague is exactly the type of talent necessary for the fourth revolution. Traveling in China with her was exhilarating. New technologies are being adopted, and businesses are maturing at an incredible speed. China is jumping the curb by learning the best of Western business processes while accessing the better tech infrastructure at their fingertips. One of the clients we visited said to us, "In China, you need to live with a suitcase packed all the time," referencing the fact that the pace of change can be faster in some areas than in the Western world, and strategy could shift overnight. You need to respond wherever in the world these better ideas are being developed. Consider below some recent transactions that speak to the nature of the world we operate within as leaders. Gone are the days of thinking that you can live a domestic life that is untouched by foreign influence. Mind switch facts. Hollywood film studio Legendary Entertainment was purchased by Asia's richest man. Starbucks plans to increase its footprint in China to 5,000 cafes by 2021. Russian business tycoon Mikhail Prokhorov's company, Onexum Group, controls 100% of the American basketball team the Brooklyn Nets and Barclays Center. Chinese appliance maker Haier bought GE's appliance unit for $5.4 billion. The biggest foreign investor of U.S. shale is Australian mining group BHP Billiton. Afghanistan won approval to join the World Trade Organization. Our industries, economies, and workforce are more vibrant and globally minded than ever. And with the rapid growth of technology, this trend is set to continue. Take, for example, just one factor: the languages people speak. An August 2013 U.S. Census report from 2009 to 2013 found that 60 million Americans speak languages other than English at home, some 300-plus different languages. For example, New York, 192 different languages. San Francisco, 163 different languages. Dallas, 156 different languages. In addition to the more common German, French, Spanish, Italian, Vietnamese, Korean, and Chinese, you have Havasupai, Swahili, Onondaga, Bengali, Pikuris, Hindi, Tungus, Hawaiian, Bengali, Pima, Amharic, Serbian, Tamil, Indonesian, Malayalan, Kiowa, Pidgin, Croatian, French Creole, Samoan, and Mandarin, which is just a small sample. Mind switch facts. Pew Research Center points out that the number of multinational Americans is on the rise, growing 3 times as fast as the country's population as a whole. And with different languages come varying customs, beliefs, hygiene, dress, food, manner, comportment, and history. These divergent backgrounds mean the requirement for open-mindedness and the ability to lead across varied styles is more important than ever. Communication competencies and willingness to learn are also heightened needs for the fourth revolution leader. Although every generation thinks its workplace texture is unlike any before, it's really true now. We have a workforce unlike any we've had previously, with people all over the world from disparate backgrounds, fueled by unbelievable technology and resulting in amazing diversity. If you are finding it hard to keep up, you are in good company, but you must be willing to continually learn and adapt to this new world. It is a tough but stimulating landscape where, in the words of one entrepreneur we spoke to, pretty much you can be the disruptor or you can be the disrupted. It's your choice. Leading with technology. All of these new technologies have transformed the way we must lead. The adoption of workplace tools that enable easier organization across global teams, our ability to influence others through online communication, and the way we work together are unlike anything that has come before. Technology is a tool, a utensil, a gadget, an instrument, and a device. As a leader, you must use this tool. Whether it be FaceTime to gather ideas from a team member in Abu Dhabi, or one of the corporate social tools like Yammer or Slack to enable collaboration, the idea of one-to-many and many-to-many communication is now the norm. Mobile is the device of choice. Our mobile devices provide great efficiency and connectivity, enhancing our communication and ability to influence one another. Obviously, fourth revolution leaders will need to embrace every aspect of the enhancement that mobile devices allow. Mind switch fact. According to Pew Research Center, April 1, 2015, here is how people use their mobile devices. 97% use text messaging. 92% make voice calls. 57% do online banking. 55% get news. 41% listen to music. 30% take a class. 18% submit job applications online. And keep in mind, Such technology is not just for connecting with your team, potential clients, customers, and colleagues. You can also learn a great deal of information about other companies, competitors or otherwise, with a little bit of online digging and stay on top of new leadership trends. Even with the greatest technological innovations or newfangled gadgets, however, leaders need...
Sample complete. Ready to continue?